Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is David and I'm known as Unity Freedom. And today I have a topic to share. It's about what is the difference between changing consciousness and shifting consciousness. If that piques your interest, stay tuned and I'll be back to share my insights on that topic. Hi, so welcome back. So today's topic that I will be sharing my insights on is the difference between changing consciousness versus shifting consciousness. So changing consciousness or changing someone's mind or changing your mind is through force, whereas shifting your consciousness is through your free will. No one is forcing you to shift your consciousness. You shift your consciousness based on your own decision, your own choice. So let's talk about changing consciousness. It's pretty common today that we see on television that there are various methods that people use to try and change your mind or your consciousness. And they do it in two ways. They either use force through intimidation, manipulation, or physical violence, or they do it in a more covert, subtle way through manipulation or mind games. So if a person uses force to threaten you, to intimidate you, and to use physical violence against you, to force you to change your mind to align with their mind, sometimes that will work with people who are afraid of retribution, who are afraid of telling the authorities that, hey, these people are forcing me to do things that I don't want. And so in this democratic society, many people know, maybe not in all countries, but in many countries, there are laws against people forcing you to change your mind to do things that you do not want to do. So for these people, they realize they cannot use force, physical force, obvious force to change your mind. So what do? They use covert manipulation. They play mind games on you to try to change your mind indirectly. There are obviously many ways to do that, but the way that some people do is through what is called fear of missing out. Because we human beings, we have that certain human nature that if we want something really badly, and if that something is withheld, it gives you that person gives you the impression that it's hard to get, it's unique, it's rare. You will feel like you just want that particular item. Say, if somebody says this item is only produced in a quantity of 100, so you have 100 pieces, and if you're not into it, you didn't buy it soon enough, you might not be able to buy it. So this is something like fear of missing out. It's used in sales. It gets people buying because it makes people feel that you're missing out because you want that particular item. But it doesn't give you that sense of satisfaction because you feel you need that and you always feel that you want that. You don't feel whole without that. So the people that uses this technique, they know that the person gives you the impression that this item will make you feel whole. And so that's the way to get many people to buy into this idea because, okay, if you get this, it will make you whole. If you achieve a certain goal, it will make you whole. But does it? Does it make you whole? So that's the way of changing people's minds to align to a certain goal. But it is forced because it is forcing you to follow a certain goal. It's not your goal. It is someone else's goal that they want you to follow. Now, contrast that with shifting consciousness. Let's take an example of a disabled person on a wheelchair. If a person comes out on a wheelchair and you see the person, one of the things that you might have an idea of is the person is disabled. So, logically, you'll think that the person might not be able to do many things that a normal person can. However, the person decided, I'm going to prove to the world that I can do many things that many people think I cannot do. So the person sets out a tour, travel all over the country on his wheelchair, showing to all people that he could travel the distance with the support of his friends. But he did all the work on the wheelchair, traveling from one place to the other, showing to the world that he's doing this all by his own power and his own ability, even though he is disabled on the wheelchair. What is he doing? He's showing to the world that even a disabled person can do all these things. And even a disabled person with the disability can do the things that maybe even a normal person who is not disabled may not have the capacity and strength to do. And so he goes around and he shows to people that he is doing all these things, traveling from one place to the other, and at the end, he finishes the tour on his wheelchair, all by himself, with the support of his family. And then what does the world do? What do people do afterwards, after they witness such a fantastic feat of human endeavor? They will see that disabled people are not disabled if they're willing to work hard to prove their own ability. Now, some people may choose to accept that and if you accept that with your own choice and free will, do you feel that the disabled person forces you to accept who he is? Or do you feel that when you change your mind, you shift your mind and your consciousness to a different level, because now you see he is not truly disabled. He is as able as you are, who is not disabled. And when you are at that state, you made that choice to shift your consciousness higher by accepting that that person is, while on a wheelchair, can do many things. Is not disabled. However, another person sitting next to you watched the television coverage of that person on a wheelchair traveling from one state to another, may not accept. I don't think that he is able to do all that. He must have help. He should not be able to do this. He should not be able to use his wheelchair to travel one state to another. He has the right to do that. That person has the free will to do that, to make a choice to ignore the evidence and walk away and not accept that person on the wheelchair is capable of doing more than being disabled. So this is the difference. The disabled person demonstrate to the viewers that he is able to overcome his disability. And you'll see many people out there who have many disabilities, but they work hard to show to others, to all people, that they are able to function as normal human beings. But they never use violence, they never use manipulation to convince others that they are able to do that all by themselves. They want others to see the evidence and to make a shift in consciousness to accept them for who they are. And this shift is permanent, because once you make the shift to accept who they are, then they are who they are. But if you try to, let's say a disabled person uses all kinds of trickery and manipulation to change people's minds that you are not disabled, what happens then? One day, that person who changed their mind to accept who you are found out you're a fake, that you're not really as you are, disabled, that you use some kind of trickery to manipulate someone's mind to accept who you are. Either you put on a fake face, a fake facade, to get someone to accept who you are, rather than you being who you are and let others accept who you are. So that's all I'd like to share for now. Hopefully you find this insights helpful. And as always, if you're interested in listening to more of my insights, please subscribe to my channel. And I will see you next time. Bye for now.